There are thousands of factory-made knives on the market right now. Walk into any major knife retailer, search online, or scroll through YouTube, and you'll see hundreds of different designs competing for your attention. Bigger blades, premium steels, tactical styling, fancy handle materials, limited editions. The knife industry has never offered more choices. But here's the problem. Having more choices doesn't automatically mean having better knives. Some factory knives look incredible in photographs, but feel completely different once they're actually in your hand. Others are packed with expensive materials but don't offer the balance, ergonomics, cutting performance, or practicality that you would expect for the price. And that's exactly why fixed blades continue to interest me. A good fixed blade doesn't need a complicated locking mechanism, a fancy pivot, or a dozen moving parts to prove its value. When the design is right, the simplicity becomes the advantage. Today, we're looking at 10 fixed blades that I'd personally choose over countless factory knives. Not because they're necessarily the most expensive or the most famous, but because each one brings something meaningful to the table. Some are compact enough for everyday carry. Some are designed for serious outdoor work. We're starting at number 10 and working toward the knife I trust most when the hype disappears and the actual work begins. And by the time we reach number 1, you might look at the average factory knife a little differently. Number 10, Vastid Inferno. Starting the countdown at number 10 is the Vastid Inferno. And this is exactly the kind of knife that makes the modern fixed blade market so interesting. Vosteed is better known to many knife enthusiasts for its folders, but the Inferno shows that the company understands how to translate that modern design philosophy into a fixed blade. The standard Inferno configuration uses a 3.57-inch 14C28N blade with micarta scales, and Vosteed's own current catalog identifies it specifically as a fixed blade model. What immediately stands out is the balance between size and purpose. This isn't trying to be a giant survival knife that you carry because it looks intimidating. It's much more refined than that. The blade is large enough for useful everyday and outdoor cutting, but compact enough to remain manageable. The 14C28N steel choice is also telling. Instead of chasing the most expensive steel name possible, Vosteed chose a stainless steel known for being practical, easy to maintain, and capable of taking a very useful edge. That makes sense on a knife intended to actually be used rather than simply displayed. Then there's the handle. Micarta has become increasingly popular because it offers a secure, natural-feeling grip without the excessive aggression that some heavily textured materials can create. Put those elements together and the Inferno becomes a very modern interpretation of the fixed blade: straightforward construction, modern proportions, practical steel, and a carry system designed around everyday use. What I particularly like is that it doesn't try too hard to look futuristic. The knife feels contemporary because of how everything works together. That's a much harder thing to accomplish than simply adding unusual shapes to a blade. The Inferno earns number 10 because it represents the direction many production fixed blades are moving toward. Less unnecessary bulk, more practical ergonomics, and a stronger focus on real-world carry. For someone who wants a modern fixed blade without turning their belt into a survival kit display, the Inferno makes a very convincing argument. Number 9, Moa Calibri. This knife brings something completely different to the countdown. While many modern factory knives are designed around tactical aesthetics, ultra-modern machining, or aggressive styling, Muela takes a different approach. The Colibri represents the traditional European side of knife making, particularly the Spanish hunting and outdoor tradition. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I wanted it here. When you're comparing knives, it's easy to get distracted by whatever happens to be newest. But sometimes an older design philosophy survives because it works. Muela has spent decades producing hunting and outdoor knives, and the Colibri carries that traditional character while remaining compact and practical. The knife has a distinctly European appearance, and that alone separates it from the sea of nearly identical modern production designs. Instead of looking like it was designed by committee to appeal to every possible buyer, it has a clear identity. The blade is compact enough to remain controllable, while the handle and overall construction make it feel like a genuine working knife rather than a decorative piece. The traditional materials and straightforward geometry also give it an important advantage. There is very little here that needs explaining. You pick it up, understand the grip, look at the edge, and immediately know what the knife is trying to do. That kind of clarity is becoming surprisingly rare in a market filled with overcomplicated designs. And there's something else worth appreciating. A knife doesn't have to use the latest super steel or carbon fiber to be useful. Good heat treatment, sensible geometry, reliable construction, and comfortable ergonomics can still make an enormous difference. That's exactly what the Moa Calibri represents. It gives this countdown a European personality and reminds us that modern knife collecting doesn't have to mean abandoning traditional craftsmanship. In fact, sometimes the smartest move is taking a proven design philosophy and keeping the parts that work. The Colibri earns number 9 because it isn't trying to beat every modern factory knife by being more complicated. It competes by being honest about what a small fixed blade needs to be. Number 8. Tops Badger Creek. This is where the countdown takes a serious step toward hard-use outdoor territory. The Badger Creek is particularly interesting because it is a relatively new production model that had been waiting for years before finally reaching the market. Knife News reported its debut in May 2026 and described it as an outdoor task knife with a distinctive 6-inch clip-point blade in N690 steel, a micarta handle, and a dangler sheath. That combination immediately gives the knife a very different personality from the compact EDC blades above it. This is not a knife designed to disappear in your pocket. It's built to be present when the work gets bigger. The blade profile is unusual, too. The broad clip point and pronounced swedge give it a visual identity that separates it from the endless stream of generic drop point outdoor knives. But the interesting part is that the shape isn't just there for photographs. The broad blade provides plenty of cutting surface, while the clip point profile gives the tip a more precise character. The N690 steel choice also makes sense for an outdoor knife because stainless corrosion resistance can be extremely valuable when a blade is exposed to moisture, rain, mud, or changing weather. The micarta handle keeps the design grounded. It's not covered in unnecessary texture or complicated inserts. Instead, Tops uses contours and grooves to provide grip while maintaining a relatively clean appearance. Knife News also notes that the Badger Creek was the last design of Tops founder Mike Fuller's that was named before his passing, giving the model an interesting piece of company history. That's not a performance specification, of course, but it gives the knife some character. And character matters when you're comparing dozens of factory blades that can start to look interchangeable. The Badger Creek earns number 8 because it offers something increasingly rare, a production knife with a strong personality that is still clearly built around outdoor work. It's big, distinctive, practical, and unapologetically a fixed blade. Number 7. Civi Altus Fixed Blade. This knife represents the opposite philosophy from the Tops Badger Creek. Instead of emphasizing size and hard-use outdoor presence, this design is about bringing the clean, refined feel of modern EDC knives into a fixed blade platform. That's an important transition because the fixed blade market is no longer divided into two simple categories: tiny backup knives and giant survival knives. There's now a huge middle ground, and knives like the Altus show how useful that category can be. Civivi has built its reputation around delivering thoughtful designs at accessible prices, and that design philosophy makes sense when applied to a fixed blade. The appeal here is not about making the knife look intimidating. It's about making it easy to live with. A good EDC fixed blade should be comfortable to grip, easy to control, simple to maintain, and convenient to carry. If any one of those areas is neglected, the knife can quickly become something you admire rather than something you actually use. The Altus concept is interesting because it approaches the fixed blade with the same modern mindset that made compact folders so popular. The blade proportions are practical, the handle is designed around everyday ergonomics, and the overall package doesn't feel like it belongs exclusively in a campsite. That's important for people who want one knife that can move between different environments. You might use it for packaging in the morning, general utility work during the day, and light outdoor tasks later without needing to carry 3 different knives. And that's really where modern fixed blades are becoming more interesting. They're not necessarily replacing traditional hunting or bushcraft knives. The Civi Altus fixed blade earns number 7 because it demonstrates how factory production can make a practical fixed blade accessible to a much wider audience. It doesn't need exotic materials or an extreme design to be useful. Its biggest strength is that it understands what everyday users actually need: a knife that feels natural in the hand and doesn't become a burden the moment you leave the house. Number 6. Reich Jagger. This is the kind of knife that makes the value side of the fixed blade market genuinely difficult for premium manufacturers to ignore. Reich has built a reputation around producing functional knives at prices that make them accessible to people who don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on a single blade. The Jager fits perfectly into that philosophy. It's a compact outdoor fixed blade that focuses on practicality instead of prestige. And that's exactly why it belongs in a video titled "The 10 Fixed Blades I'd Choose Over Every Factory Knife." When I say I'd choose it over a factory knife, I'm not talking about brand recognition. I'm talking about the ratio between what the knife gives you and what you actually have to sacrifice to own it. The Jager represents the idea that you can have a purpose-built fixed blade with modern stainless steel, useful ergonomics, a dedicated sheath, and enough capability for everyday outdoor work without paying premium brand prices. That's a big deal because knife pricing has become increasingly strange. 2 knives can look nearly identical on paper, yet one can cost several times more because of branding, materials, or production location. That doesn't automatically make the expensive knife bad, but it does make the affordable knife more interesting when it delivers the fundamentals correctly. The Jager also fills an important role in this countdown because not every great knife needs to be a collector's piece. Some knives are valuable precisely because you don't feel nervous about using them. You can take them camping, throw them into your gear, use them around the workshop, sharpen them when necessary, and continue living your life. That's the kind of freedom a practical knife should provide. The Jager isn't asking you to admire it from across the room. It's asking you to use it. For a lot of people, that is exactly what a good fixed blade should be. Number 6 is where the countdown starts becoming less about hype and more about value, reliability, and the simple question that matters most. If I own this knife, would I actually reach for it? Number 5, Böker AK1. The AK1 has been around long enough to establish itself as something more than another short-lived factory design. And that's important because premium knives have to offer more than expensive materials to justify their place. They need refinement. The AK1 has a very deliberate, compact profile that makes it immediately recognizable. It's not oversized, it's not trying to imitate a survival knife, and it doesn't rely on unnecessary visual aggression. Instead, the design is centered around discreet, everyday carry and controlled cutting. That's exactly the kind of knife I find interesting because it understands that a fixed blade can be a precision tool rather than simply a heavy-duty tool. A compact knife like the AK1 can be extremely useful when the task requires control more than brute force. Opening packages, trimming materials, cutting cord, preparing food, handling small camp chores. These are the kinds of tasks where a compact fixed blade can feel almost effortless. The AK1 also demonstrates something that many premium factory knives get right: proportions. A knife can have excellent steel and still feel wrong if the handle is too thick, the blade is too deep, or the overall balance is awkward. Good design is about how all those measurements interact. The AK1 feels like a knife that was designed around carry first rather than built large and then reduced afterward. That's a meaningful distinction. It also has the advantage of being recognizable enough that viewers who follow the knife industry will immediately understand why it belongs in a premium fixed blade conversation. But the reason I put it at number 5 isn't simply because it's expensive or prestigious. It's because the knife demonstrates how far production fixed blades have evolved. A factory-made knife can now have the fit, finish, ergonomics, and compactness that once required going directly to a custom maker. That doesn't mean every factory knife has reached custom quality, but the gap has certainly narrowed. The AK1 is a good example of that narrowing gap, and that's why it deserves a spot in the top half of this list. Number 4, Creely Mako. This is where the list gets seriously interesting for anyone who cares about cutting performance rather than simply owning an impressive-looking knife. Creely is one of those names that tends to attract people who appreciate smaller makers and designs that don't feel mass-produced. The Mako has a very different character from the large outdoor knives we've discussed. It is more focused, more refined, and more personal in its design language. And that matters because there is something special about a knife that feels like someone actually obsessed over the details. The Mako is the kind of fixed blade that makes you reconsider what a serious knife needs to look like. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't need a thick slab of steel. It doesn't need an aggressive tactical appearance. What it needs is a good blade, excellent geometry, comfortable ergonomics, and a construction philosophy that prioritizes actual cutting. That's the difference between a knife that looks powerful and a knife that performs beautifully. A well-designed slicer can be more useful in everyday life than a much larger blade that was designed primarily around toughness. And that's where the Mako becomes especially compelling. It brings a more refined approach to fixed blade design, while still retaining the simplicity that makes fixed blades attractive in the first place. There is no complicated lock to operate, no pivot system to tune, and no unnecessary mechanism between your hand and the blade. Everything is direct. That directness is one of the biggest reasons I personally find fixed blades so appealing. You can look at the knife, understand how it works, and immediately know what you're getting. The Mako takes that simplicity and gives it a more premium personality. It also gives this countdown something important: a knife that feels less like a mass-market product and more like something chosen by someone who knows exactly what they want from a blade. That the Creely Mako earns its position because it proves that factory-style production doesn't have to mean generic design. There are still knives out there with enough individuality to make you forget how many other models are sitting on the shelf. Number 3. Olive Knives Venari. This is one of the most interesting choices on the entire list because it represents the kind of fixed blade that can easily get overlooked when the conversation is dominated by major brands. That's exactly why I wanted it this high. The knife world has a tendency to reward recognizable names, but some of the most interesting designs come from smaller makers and less familiar companies. The Venari has that appeal. It doesn't feel like another copy of the same tactical fixed blade that has been released 20 times under different logos. Instead, it has its own identity. And when you're building a list around knives you choose over mainstream factory products, individuality becomes a serious advantage. What I like about the Venari is the sense that it was created for someone who cares about the details. The blade profile, handle proportions, and overall silhouette work together in a way that feels intentional rather than generic. This is important because the modern knife market has become extremely competitive. The Venari has that memorable quality. It feels like a knife you'd notice immediately if someone placed 10 fixed blades on a table. And that's exactly what I want from a number 3. I also like that it doesn't need to rely on exaggerated tactical styling to create personality. The knife can be appreciated for what it is rather than what it is pretending to be. That's a quality I think is becoming increasingly valuable. After years of knives becoming bigger, more aggressive, and more complicated, there's something refreshing about a design that simply feels confident. The Venari earns number 3 because it represents the part of the knife industry that doesn't follow the obvious path. It reminds us that you don't need to buy the most famous factory model to get a genuinely interesting fixed blade. Sometimes the better choice is the one fewer people are talking about. And for viewers who are tired of seeing the same 10 knife brands appear in every countdown, the Venari gives this list a completely different personality. It's unconventional, memorable, and exactly the kind of knife that makes people stop and ask, where did you find that? Number 2. MKM Terzuola TPF Defense. The TPF Defense was designed by Bob Terzuola, one of the most influential names in modern tactical knife design, and produced by MKM in Italy. Dedicated video coverage describes it as a compact tactical and EDC fixed blade designed by Terzuola and manufactured by the Italian Knife Makers Consortium. The knife is available in CPM MagnaCut configurations, and current catalog listings also show versions with carbon fiber and other premium handle materials. But the feature that really gets my attention is the sheath system. The TPF Defense can be paired with a leather sheath incorporating a magnetic retention system, while an optional Kydex sheath is also available. Knife enthusiasts have specifically discussed the magnetic leather sheath and the different handle configurations available for the model. That's exactly the kind of detail that separates a genuinely thought-out knife from a blade that simply looks impressive. The knife isn't just a piece of sharpened steel. The carry system is part of the design. The compact dimensions make it suitable for discrete EDC, while the full fixed blade construction keeps the mechanism extremely simple. And then there's the MagnaCut option. Whether you personally need a premium powder metallurgy steel is another question, but its presence shows how far production fixed blades have come. Not long ago, a compact fixed blade combining a respected custom designer, Italian production, MagnaCut, premium handle materials, and a sophisticated sheath would have been a much more unusual proposition. Now it's something you can actually buy. That's why the TPF Defense sits at number 2. It doesn't win because it's the toughest knife on the list. It wins because it demonstrates how much technology and design experience can be compressed into a very small package. It's the kind of knife that feels like the result of decades of knife-making evolution rather than simply another factory release. And when you're asking which fixed blades you choose over ordinary factory knives, that's exactly the kind of design that deserves to be near the top. Number 1. Benchmade 162 BUSHCRAFTER. This is the knife I would put at the top because it represents something that is surprisingly difficult to achieve in the knife industry. A design that becomes respected not because it is constantly changing, but because the original idea was simply right. The 162 was designed by Shane Siebert and was built specifically around bushcraft use. Gear Junkie's review notes that the original 162 featured a Scandi ground drop point blade, G10 handle scales, a leather sheath with a ferro rod sleeve, and S30V stainless steel, a notably unusual steel choice for a bushcraft knife when it was introduced. That last point is particularly important. When the 162 appeared, using S30V in a bushcraft-oriented knife was not the obvious choice. Traditional bushcraft knives often prioritize carbon steels because of their sharpening characteristics and behavior during woodworking. Benchmade took a different route and demonstrated that a stainless powder steel could be incorporated into a dedicated bushcraft platform. The knife also showed how a complete system should work. The blade wasn't designed in isolation. The handle, sheath, and ferro rod storage all supported the same outdoor purpose. And that is why the 162 remains interesting even as the knife industry continues to release newer models. It isn't trying to impress you with 10 different features. It simply gets the fundamentals right. The Scandi grind gives the knife a very recognizable woodworking character, while the drop point blade provides a useful balance between cutting and tip control. The G10 handle offers durability and stability, while the overall size makes the knife substantial without turning it into an oversized survival blade. What really earns it the number 1 position, though, is its influence. A genuinely good design can survive changing trends, new steels, new manufacturers, and new marketing strategies. That's exactly what the Bushcrafter has done. And even though Benchmade eventually evolved the design into the mini Bushcrafter 165, the original 162 remains an important part of the story. So if I had to choose one fixed blade from this entire countdown over an average factory knife, the 162 Bushcrafter would be my pick, not because it's the newest, but because it proves that great knife design doesn't need to chase every trend.